We are live.
What a catch. What a catch. That's it, I'm up, I'm out of my seat. By the way, this is the preamble bit before we start.
The preamble.
We're rewatching what can only be described as, that's it, the best game of the year, which is Titans Ravens yesterday, and we just seen Johnny Smith, who all year has done
Johnny Smith. Wow, that is a heck of a catch.
He's just gone up there one-handed, come down on his arse. It absolutely. Look at this. I mean, that is a thing of beauty, everybody. But anyway, that's it. As you can tell, I'm quite excited by this.
Unsurprising.
That's it. Well, it doesn't happen.
I'm happy for you.
It happens once every. Well, this is the first time in 17 years it's happened. So.
Yeah, 2002, the last time you were in that. Eddie George was running the ball the last time you were in. Oh man,
legend at B. Steve McNair, R.I.P. Legend at B.
Alright, here we go.
That's the team that. Well.
The whole Liam Kumar effect. Not really happened.
Nigel couldn't make it. I've Mendon always said he could make it.
Don't take this home. Phil, Predator guy, always managed to do well. Yeah, but he is a shocking personality. You guys got a trophy? No. It was breathing.
Well, like from Rashad Mendon.
I'm a tank, Jack! I'm a fucking tank!
Phil may have been the tank that year, but in this year there is a new tank on the block, and we will get to that shortly as we welcome you to the final episode of the LOC Report for the 2019 season. We got there.
I can't believe it. I mean, I'll be honest, I can't believe it. It doesn't seem that long ago since we started this.
No, it never does. It goes by in a flash, and then we look forward to it for ages for it to come back again.
Actually, yeah,
despite how painful it can be for some of us.
Oh,
but
well. Speak for yourself.
Indeed, yes, and we'll get to that in a bit. Of course, though, I must welcome Chris before we start. Co-host is here. How's it going, Chris?
Very well, very well. So, yeah, I'm feeling fresh-ish after yesterday's...
Yes, staying up late for the
mammoth, absolute marathon. Yeah. I mean, I tell you what, it makes you, this is what makes you love the sport. You know,
yeah.
Many years ago, and I say, I will tell you this story every time it comes to, success. And so I remember going to the States in 2006 and watching the 49ers, and the 49ers at that point were on the way down. But then there was a new team for me. That's it. That's it. And they were playing the Tennessee Titans. That's it. There it was.
Yeah.
There it was. That's it. Yeah, that's
right
it. Those two teams, and those two teams once again could go to the Super Bowl. That's it. And for me, that would be a really nice,
poetic.
Come back around.
Yeah.
Especially if the Titans win. So that'd be great.
Sure,
but yeah, I mean, it wraps up so far. Quite a good football year for me, so...
Yeah, indeed. It is a new year, in fact, now, because last time we talked to you was actually before Christmas and New Year, so we hope you had a good, happy holidays.
Absolutely.
But yes, we are here today to talk to you about Corona Bowl 11. We'll also see what went on in the consolation brackets, because they count for final standings.
They do.
And we will, of course, reveal our 2019 award winners.
Yes.
Apart from the Ross Nunn Comedy Award for Comedy, because he handles that one. So who knows when that's going to happen.
I said we don't know. We can't announce that today.
No.
We don't even know who's won.
No, don't even know if he's nominated, really.
That's it.
No. So we will start off with the Corona Bowl then, and of course it was Ixan against Forge Flyers. Ixan took on Forge Flyers, a friendship bowl in Corona Bowl 11, but it didn't end so friendly because one team decidedly won this one, 100-63 in favour of the new champion, two-time winner. Sat to my right, Coach Chris Leach, and it was a good game for Chris and a unfortunate game for Ben. Jameis Winston got 13 points. George Kittle got 14 and Todd Gurley got 17, but there really was nothing else there for Chris. Ryan Tannehill coming through in more ways than one since this game, but certainly in this one, 30 points. Christian McCaffrey, 17 points. Marlon Mack, 16 points. Rashad Perryman again, starting him for another week. He got 10 on route to that 100 points there. The history of this matchup was always one-sided towards Chris, and it's moved even further in that direction now as he has a 10-4 record all-time over Iksan. And Chris, take it away.
Well, as I said, from a neutral's perspective, this was a totally anticlimactic game.
Yes.
I mean, we went into the game knowing that there was a couple of injury doubts on Ben's side. Those would probably be the difference makers. And as it turned out, that was absolutely the case. So you look at what Derek Henry's doing in the postseason, and the points that he's putting up, what he would have done fantasy wise anyway.
Yes. Yeah.
And what that's missing from Ben's side, and I think there, with those two players that he had, Dalvin Cook as well, that would have been probably the thing that gets him over the line. But that wasn't to be, and I think a little bit of a lack of pre-planning for that potentially on his side.
Yeah, we talked about that in the build-up. Obviously, the injuries. I think was it Cook was already out the week before previous or something like that. I can't remember, but regardless, Ben was a little stung. He was holding multiple players who were on IR, I believe, on his bench leading up to that. So a bit of inaction did cost him, but in the same breath of that, at this stage of the season, it's very tough to replace anyone, especially key guys like that.
Ironically, though, both the handcuff options for those players were available at least a week beforehand. In fact, I picked up Dion Lewis to prevent him from doing so. I mean, I know it's a bit of a scumbag move, but it needs must.
He didn't go on to do much either.
He didn't do a great deal, but at the same time, you would have thought that doing something like that would be at the forefront of his mind, but it wasn't, and it worked out for me. I say again, the guys who I rely on down the stretch, Tannehill and Rashad Perryman particularly.
Yeah, it's a great pickup.
Came in good, and guys who we definitely did pin some hopes on earlier in the year. Think of McCaffrey, think of Mac. Came up good. Other than that, it wasn't really a great deal to say on my side, but we did get to 100 points, which was great.
A good week.
Useful. I say another 100-point week. I say there hasn't been too many that have been below that this year, which has been really pleasing. I say thankfully the right players in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I didn't ever think I would ever get to be a two-time winner of this. It wasn't that long ago that.
In the old days.
Exactly that. When the format was different, and I just didn't really have the team. Especially in the keeper league days.
Sure.
To be able to sustain it, but now it's a lot different. And, the rule changes, particularly the ones that we made this year, have really worked in my favour. I absolutely love the way it works. I know some other people don't have that same sort of sentiment perhaps, but it's worked out for me, and in my head works perfectly, and that's sort of the fruit of it, really.
Absolutely.
Super happy with that. But I do appreciate from the outside looking in, it wasn't the most exciting thing in the world to happen.
Not the most exciting, but I think it's probably quite fair to say, even if Ben would have had both Gurley and Henry, I still don't think he wins this one. You had a 37-point margin. Look, he didn't get much from the replacements he had, but he got a bit. So those two players realistically would have had to combine for about 45 points each.
Yeah.
To bring it home. That's a lot to ask. Lewis was playing New Orleans, again a pretty good defense at the time. I know Henry's pretty crazy himself, but that's true. And then Dalvin Cook was playing Green Bay. Like Green Bay do give up a lot on the ground. It may have been different, but I still think you probably would have brought it home.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston was the bigger letdown, I think, for Ben. He needed the quarterback to have a good day, to have a chance. Really, that was what we were saying.
And that was I think that was the Saturday game from that week. And when you go in with that, knowing it's 13 points, from my side, it made me planning for it an awful lot easier.
Yeah.
It was the more scary option was which of the three running backs would it be to score over 20 or even 25, and thankfully it was neither of them. But I have to say the parallels between my last win and this win there's quite a few, but in the sense of changing a QB for the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right, absolutely.
Because of the 2 years ago, I bought in Blake Bortles, which is a similar sort of team right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doing similar sort of things to what Tennessee's doing right now, and it played off for me there, and Tannehill again this year. So maybe that's the thing. It's knowing when to pull the trigger, and I don't know. I don't know if I got fortunate or whether that's just whether that's the skill of the game, but
sure.
But yeah, that's it. But the right players in the right place at the right time. I feel fortunate to be able to have got this far. So
absolutely,
yeah.
And as champions do, they of course get the award ceremony. They sorely deserve. The nameplate is on the bottom, and don't worry, it still needs updating from your first victory. It's fine. It's also, I don't know what you champions do with this thing, because it's definitely seen some better days.
I tell you what. Maybe I'll put on record now. That's it. Thank you very much. There it is. Maybe I'll put on record now. This trophy's done us well for the first 10 years. Perhaps we should invest in a new trophy for the next 10 years.
Well, it's not been quite 10 that we've had it. I can't remember when I bought that. Maybe 5. Or how many have we gotten? Well, no, because we would have got it from the. I would have done it from whenever I got it. We've definitely had it. I think at least 5 years. So yes, it's done well for those 5 years. It's done well for how much it's been ferried about.
Absolutely. So that's it. But thank you very much. No, that's it. I do feel that's it. Very fortunate to have picked it up again.
And of course, the winner gets the Corona sponsored Fancy League 4-pack of Corona.
That's why it's called Corona, the Corona Bowl, of course.
Yeah, interestingly, I got an email the other day while we're on this. Yeah, that champion. The spoils go the victor. I got this email from Podcorn Opportunities. Hi, LOC Report team. We think your podcast would be a great fit for the advertisers on Podcorn. We exist to solely help podcasters like you monetize and match podcasters with advertisers. So we may have a new.
Well, that would be good. I mean,
if bowl sponsor, a bowl sponsor. We just kind of went with Corona.
It could be literally anybody.
Yes, we are not picky. Anyone's willing to give us some free stuff.
If InBev ever wants to sponsor us, we have many other bowl games.
Yes, we do, which we'll get.
And we would, if you wanted to, talk about them in great length.
Yeah, indeed, and add drops in every show.
Absolutely. So, but I shall leave that there.
Speaking of which, to give our advertisers confidence in our new future contract, we have at least one other viewer. Please do comment along if you're watching.
Oh,
and a phone call.
And a phone call. That's just a really terrible time for someone to ring me. So I shall message that guy back and say
that's fine.
Custom. That's it.
Because in the meantime, we can take a quick look at the consolation place winners. So obviously the other two playoff teams that did not make the Corona Bowl, Phil and Ross, duked it out for the third place playoff game. And Phil said he obviously changed the team, deleted the app. He's done, supposedly retiring, but we'll wait to see if that's true or not. But if he does, he'll at least go out on a win, because he did officially secure third place with 134 to 91 points over Ross's team. If we look at the other consolation brackets, so of course Ross gets fourth. The fifth place game saw Bare Necessities take on the Dream Team. Probably the most underwhelming game, right next to the Corona Bowl, hilariously enough. This one, Viv won it 90 to 64, so Viv takes fifth place, and my dad is sixth. And then finally the seventh place game was actually probably the most entertaining game in week 16, yes. Hilariously. Bedetnes took a close one against Mike, 120 to 100.
Oh, see, that's what it's all about. Honestly, it's all these InBev products that they could have.
Yes, we could have had Budweiser. Oh wait, no, that's Anheuser-Busch. Are they InBev now? I don't even know.
I don't even know. That's it. I don't want to look for InBev products because they don't even sponsor.
But the point is, there's so many bowl games to sponsor, and we've got other bowl games as well. Like we've already said, the Friendship Bowl, the Father-Son Bowl. Yeah. We've got the Anagram Bowl.
We have many
a bowl that can have a brand attached to
NFL them, London games, wherever you are, Wembley, Twickenham, Tottenham Hotspur Stadium Bowl. That's it. And look, we're putting ourselves in the shop window here.
Yeah, exactly. It's too good of an opportunity.
That's it. I mean, who wouldn't want it? We've even got 2 viewers now.
Yeah, there you go. So
all those products you can advertise.
Yeah, it is. So those are the other Corona Bowl. The other consolation winners. This will now not change, obviously, until the next season. So, Chris, you notched yourself another playoff victory. You are 4-1 in the playoffs. I think you probably have the best playoff win percentage. You do. next to Ollie, excuse me, who is 5-1. So he has one more win than you, but same amount of losses.
Yeah,
so you're certainly getting there. And then Ben slides back to 400 with his loss, unfortunately. And
I have to say that I don't want to bang on about it, but I have made it to nearly. It was very close to
parity.
Back to parity.
You're at one ahead of parity.
It was. Am I? Oh yes, I am.
1879.
Yeah, all in.
Mission accomplished.
Oh, there we go. Let's say I go into next season just like. So, we'll just do what Eli Manning does and just walk off into the... No. Not doing that. No. Are we, Phil?
No,
we're not doing that.
No. What a catch.
There it is. There it is.
Throw and catch. And yeah, of course, my dad does finish the year atop this. And interestingly, there is an opportunity next season for a team to get to 100 wins.
Oh.
It would be a good, very, very good season. Either my dad would have to go 13-1, or obviously make the playoffs and get a win or two. And same for Phil and Tom. They're both sitting on 86, so the situation exists.
Yeah. Well, I'd love to see it. I'd love to see it. I'd love to see someone do it.
Yeah. So that is stuff from an official league point of view, I believe. So I suppose then all that's left is the 2019 award winners.
That's it. As we know, so this is the traditional curtain. Well, it's not raiser, is it now? It's
curtain closer.
It's a closer. That's it.
Curtain closer.
That's it. The credits will start to roll at the end of this.
Yeah. As the episode said, Ciao, adios. We're done for a long and well-deserved off season of rest for us.
It's a shame because I quite enjoy doing it.
It is quite fun. Perhaps we can explore something else.
Well,
who knows?
There's every possibility.
But yes, firstly the awards.
We can do an XFL pod.
And oh my.
Yeah. That's it. MLS starts on March the 1st.
That would be more pleasurable. Anything but
XFL. Oh,
so first of all, we have the LOC Award, which is the award for the luckiest coach of the season. That can be due to a various amount of reasons, and we will read them off now. So we've got Coach Mike Taylor of Bucking the Trend. Hopefully you've read through this bit. If you've not, I'll just give you the quick hits. Lowest points conceded, lowest points scored, 7-7 record. Go figure. In the breakdown, he came last, I believe, with 43 and 111.
I mean, that is just absurd.
Behind the 11th place team, myself, 55 and 99, and I went 3 and 11, just for comparison's sake. So,
what is that?
Definitely some Larkin Gypsy wins going on there.
Hugely.
Yeah. And then Coach Merritt, similar kind of story. He was the second lowest points conceded, and I think there's another tidbit in here about the next closest. So I think he had 1102. The next closest was...
We can find out with the power of NFL.com.
It's not on there. It's right here though, so we can see. 1100. The next closest was 1200 and something. I think. Yeah, 1250 or something. So
1079.
Yeah,
is again
those two were quite a bit behind. He obviously had some gypsy wins as well. But as we were saying a bit earlier, he did have some unluckiness to close the season. Ross's team, he didn't even have a winning record in the breakdown this year.
Really?
Yeah, which is quite surprising because Ross's team, on paper, in terms of obviously record and points scored, doesn't look too bad, but didn't actually have a positive breakdown record. So kind of a bit lucky, you could say. There he was even behind Tom Starrance and Necessities. And then finally, Viv's team, he went 0-3, and he came actually not too far away from really the playoff spots, but he really did arguably have one of the worst teams at the start of the year. Obviously had a lot of tight ends to start the year, a lot of tight ends that didn't work out. And the winner then, we decided all these just before we came on. The winner for the LOC Award, probably not too hard to guess.
Not surprising.
Coach Taylor won this one. Well deserved. Look, you were also nominated for the Overachiever Mike because credit is where credit's due. 7-7 is impressive, but you had a lot of luck on the way to that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, so, it's not skill if it's luck.
It would be quite interesting for Ben with his analytics to get on this and see how much of a deviation or an outlier it was for Mike to do what he did with. Yeah,
well, the odds to do that, I would have thought, bearing in mind that the breakdown was
so bad,
as skewed as it was.
Bad, yeah.
Must have been so high. So, yeah. Buy a lottery ticket. Buy a lottery ticket.
Overachiever Award, then, like we said, Coach Taylor nominated for this as well. Look, he did do some good things. He did patch a team together. Yeah. He started off really from, a negative position almost with AJ Green and Melvin Gordon on his team. So he did sort of deserve to get some wins, and you know the badness was to his own doing, but he dug his way out of that to a degree. Coach Nunn, look, when we start a season, certainly when we do the pre-season pods, we never really endorse Ross that much for any potential greatness. He's been a decent coach, but he's never showed enough to get to the playoffs, which is exactly what he did this season.
I think as well, you know, when you've got a team that is auto-drafted,
yes,
and it's not your own, you know, there is an element of, you know, of picking the pieces up and then running with them. And I quite like the fact that he's done that this year. So.
Yeah, certainly. We should say that about Mike as well. He didn't even know he was going to be playing fantasy football until draft day.
That's true, actually.
Came in, drafted everything. So fair play to him.
With such little research.
Yeah. Phil's here as well. So I had a quick fun Q&A here. So 2014 is the answer. What is the question? The last time the Tuck Cards appeared in the playoffs.
Well,
a long time ago. Hasn't shown he's been capable of doing it in a 12-team format, which has been a nice narrative of ours for quite a few seasons now.
Absolutely.
And it held true until this season where he did. So it is fair to say exceeded expectations there. And then finally Tom, he didn't have a good roster for large stretches of the this season, but he did quite a good job to really being with a chance of making the playoffs.
Steering in the right direction for sure.
And as we already saw with the breakdown, he would have beaten a lot of teams, so probably somewhat unfortunate to be 6-8. But the winner we chose for this award was Coach Nunn.
Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. First playoff appearance since 2009.
That's crazy.
First since unretiring. Look, I think he's embraced his laissez-faire style.
Yeah.
It's certainly the first few years that he came back, it was a bit like, well, maybe he just doesn't know. He's just leaving. This year, it was almost a deliberate laissez-faire style.
Yeah, he doesn't use a lot of the players on his bench. You know, it's those players that are in that starting lineup are in that starting lineup for good, pretty much.
But when he did use those bench players, he actually had a few good ones, largely helped by that trade, of course.
Yes,
he
absolutely. Which to be fair, did bolster him through the run.
Absolutely.
So, and look at a guy like Curtis Samuel, for example. You know, so he had some good weeks for him. So yeah, especially for giving away one player to game 3. I mean, you know, that's bold, but it worked out.
And then we have the comeback awards. So again, there's a few similarities between these first 3, but they're an all unique award. So Ross is on here for the comeback award as well. Like we said, it's been a long road back for Ross. 2009 in the playoffs, and I believe that was his first and only season until he unretired and came back. And it's been a long road back, but he made it. Phil as well, as we just said with the Overachiever Award. It's been quite a few years now for Phil in the wilderness, but he found his way back. Didn't let it. He did let it get to him. Flaunted retirement many a time.
It's been a long time since Phil. I mean, like Eddie Lacy was still fantasy relevant.
Yes,
and Phil was last in the playoffs. So yeah, that tells you.
Peyton Manning was still playing well.
That's
last
right.
Time Phil was in the playoffs.
Just playing full stop. A lot of things have happened in that time. And I must admit, you know, you've got to ask yourself with Phil's team, is this a corner that he's turned? Yeah, now that he's sort of got the concept, and I hope it is, and I hope he continues playing on, because you know it's a constant source of entertainment for everybody.
Sure is. Yeah.
and him. That's it. Hopefully it's entertaining for him, but it is more entertaining for us to see, you know, how he does. One day he'll win it, and then there'll be like a, you know,
yeah. Then he'll probably ride off into the sunset,
yeah,
to which we probably won't complain.
You can't really complain. And there'll be like a Mardi Gras. There'll be like open. You see these stories of like people who hire like open top buses. And drive them through cities. Where I said it'll be Phil by himself on the open top bus
in New Zealand.
Yes, in New Zealand. Yeah, that's right. That's it. The people of Wellington, Auckland, Christ knows where he is. I don't know where he is. You know, that's it. They won't even know what's going on. That's it.
No.
It's like a Saturday, and people will be like, "That's it. Who's this guy?" But hey, one day, one day you'll be there, Phil.
Yeah,
one day.
Then we have Viv here as well. So Viv started 0-3 and battled his way back to parity. And like I said, nearly in shout with the playoffs. He's 7-7 record, 7-4 after that 0-3. So that was quite the turnaround. And then Pat as well. He went 2-12 last year. The start of this year looked like it was going to perilously be the same. If anything, he made a trade that made matters even worse. Not through his own fault. He traded for Devontae Adams, giving up those 3 players. Devontae Adams got injured. Those 3 actually played some good snaps for Ross as well. But by the end of the season, he got to 6-8, and like we were saying, we were saying a bit actually, that team was probably playoff level by the end of it. He was putting up good scores every week.
Yeah, it became solid. I mean, and no parts of, because Devontae Adams came back and started playing well, and the fact that Green Bay decided they didn't want to run the ball anymore. Oh look, we don't want to restart.
Every single time.
No, it wouldn't be a problem with that.
But the winner of the comeback award, making the comeback from that restart announcement, is Phil Merritt.
That's it. And it should be no surprise.
Yeah, well deserved.
Because it's been a long time since he's been, in the hunt. And that's probably why it's so disappointing, to get to that point. I'll say it again though. Had he have not lost his last regular season game, he would have won the league.
Oh, because he would have played a different.
Because he would have played different parts of the final. And that's
it's tough to take.
That's very tough to take.
Certainly when you're in Phil's position.
Bear in mind, you get all year, then the same team scores 60 points one week and 130 the next. It's just absolutely unbelievable how that can be the case.
It is. Next award, then, League Commissioners Award. My award to give based on sportsmanship, contribution to the league, etc. So we have Tom Barnes. He, of course, was the locker again, assisting me on draft day, and he writes the power rankings now. Wrote quite a few, didn't quite get to the end of the season. But obviously we do all look forward to that notification. And Tom Barnes is posted in the League of Champions. You, Chris, you of course are the co-host. You've made many an episode this season, but you had a few hats on this season, other than your coaching hat, because you were also the League Ombudsman for the first time, and you also chipped in with a few power rankings near the end of the season, which were very good reads.
This is true, as long as people enjoyed them, that was the main thing.
Oh, sure did. Coach Nunn, he obviously creates a new team name every week, and we all get a kick out of that. And created his own award last season as well.
Yeah, with his own trophy as well. Which is kind of
cool, I can't forget the trophy. That's a good trophy. Might have to get him on the next LOC trophy if we replace that.
That's one thing. That's an AGM topic. Shall we replace the trophy?
We'll see. And then Coach Gardner, for a similar thing as Ross, obviously he made the ultimate sacrifice because he plagued himself with having to come up with a new kicker-oriented team each week, but also cursed himself by cursing said kicker.
Indeed, that's it. So I think that's what you do when you throw all your eggs in one basket in one kicker. But. Who did you decide?
The winner of that award was you, Chris.
Oh, thank you.
I believe in fact, we've got the. We could take a look at the accolades quickly.
I'm probably a bit of a hero on this award.
You've probably had it a few times, and so you are here. The Commissioners Award. Yeah, you've had it twice, 2014, 2017. I imagine 2014 would have been your first year on the podcast.
I would have thought
feels
so.
About right, somewhere around then. And 2017 just probably excellence in podcasting, and that goes true for this year as well as the other things you did.
As long as people enjoy the podcast, I don't know.
You've created an aura, because whenever anyone else comes on this podcast, they are very nervous about not being able to fill your seats. So.
I don't know about that. I mean, all you gotta do is just like savage people's teams. That's it. You got, but I don't just.
You're like the Martin Lawrenson of the LOC Report.
See, I don't just give it out. I take it. I try and do it as constructively as I can. And hopefully you've enjoyed it a little bit. I'll be back next year as well. So
glad to hear it.
It'll be fine.
Yeah.
Well, this year, later on this year.
Yes, later on this year. Yeah, already 2020. GM of the year. So we get to the big awards now. So we've got General Manager of the Year, obviously going for. Roster management, good draft, trades, player acquisition, roster tactics, and so on. So Ben is nominated here because obviously he has his spreadsheets, and it has led to an incredible amount of consistency. I think I noted in here he has had a 7-7 record or better every single year since 2013. That is unheralded.
Which is pretty much when he started doing the spreadsheet model.
Yeah. When we induct, eventually, after probably another decade or so, start inducting coaches into the LOC Hall of Fame for career body of work, Ben will certainly be up there for that this stretch that he's been. It's Patriots-esque.
I mean,
the number of titles may not have followed, but he's made 3 appearances in the Corona Bowl in that span as well.
Don't get me wrong. The spreadsheets sometimes throw up some funny draft picks, but it
seems to work.
We think of Cameron Meredith, for example.
Every time you can, every GM has a miss, but it makes so many hits.
But I mean, absolutely, and so it has made the roster rock solid. If only they were. This is the one thing I've said for a long time. If
free agents is Ben's Achilles heel. If he can nail that down, he'd almost be unstoppable.
If he can keep refreshing that spreadsheet, as you say, it's mid-season or better. Yeah, I think that you'd find that. But I mean, say at the draft.
Cannot knock that. Pat is here as well. As we said about the roster renovation, he had to do a lot of work on that team throughout this year. The draft was okay, but the renovation really got it up to scratch and had it playing at a good level by the end. You were here as well, Chris. You had a good draft, but really some of the roster moves you made, the players you picked up to get you to the end and get you over the line. We can obviously point to Dak Prescott right at the start of the season, Rashad Perriman right at the end of the season.
Love a tight end, and
a tight end, king of the tight end pickup.
Good old Darren Wallace, good old Jacob Hollister end of the year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've been through it. Hunter Henry, he was there for a while and then got injured. So not afraid of playing 3 tight ends. So. Yeah,
absolutely. And GM Burdett as well. Look, he had another one of his curious draft strategies. Didn't quite pay off, but he did do the bold tactic of taking Rodgers and Lamar Jackson, and it paid off in the long run. He filled in with some other complementary players, but really, Aaron Jones is a great pick. But he had Jamal Williams for large stretches. Yep. 1 week, I'm pretty sure he played all 3 of Rodgers, Williams, and Jones. Williams and Jones were quite a common pairing for him. I believe he did it with a couple of other players as well.
If only had a receiver that worked.
Indeed. He made some crazy pickups as well. Or they looked crazy at the time, but they paid off. So he did do a real good job in that respect. But the winner of this year is Coach Sherwood.
Absolutely.
The draft was so good. He did make a few okay pickups. Obviously, yes, he took his eye off the ball a bit on the end and was a bit late to the quarterback game, but Jameis Winston was good when he did pick him up. He did it at the right time, and certainly a deserved GM.
Massively.
And then finally, we have the head coach of the year. Chris, you are here. So head coach of the year is really for all of the above, everything. It's GMing, it's roster selection. We take the coach score into account, all these kind of things. And you pretty much were the all-rounder in this category, I think it's fair to say, this year. Good pickups. Certainly heroic, the starting choices, a good draft, so you're certainly deserving of here. And I think I listed the amount of categories that you're near the top in this season was quite a few. Ben is here as well, obviously. So yes, we say about he let himself down a little bit with the GMing at the end of the year, but he also did change his team. He made some good pickups, and obviously won the regular season title.
Yeah.
Coach Sub-Senior, the only one here not to make the playoffs, but arguably should have done.
Yes.
Because boasted a 91-63 record in the breakdown, which was 4th on the breakdown metric. Only went 6-8, and yes, he had that horrendous long stretch of losers at one point, but it wasn't down to his doing. And Chris, I used a quote from you here. They'd have been a playoff team if they were in a different division. And
I stand by that
true.
Massively.
Yeah,
massively.
And Coach Merritt rounding out the bottom here, and he did have a very good year. He stormed out to an 8-1 record. Yes, there were a few gypsy wins along the way, but at times he did look dominant. And basically locked up playoffs by week 10 essentially. So good coaching, but the winner of this award, the rich get richer, because Chris, I think it's Rashad Perriman that basically sealed this award for you, to be quite honest.
It wasn't me, it was Brashard, right? Honestly, that guy. There is a in my head a Forge Flyers Hall of Fame where guys who are useful go
could be a nominee.
Mate, Rashad, as everyone's heard for the in the intro for the last God knows how many weeks, Rashad Mendenhall was probably there for being the same sort of guy as Perriman was many years ago in 2011. 2011, it's a long way back now.
Yeah, it's been
2011. But I say Rashad Perriman's in there. That's it. So that is one name if he doesn't do anything else in the NFL, will always stay with me.
Being Brashad Berriman is also quite likely.
Yes, absolutely.
Would not surprise anyone if he flamed out in a year's time.
No, not at all. Not at all. But I will say this as well, is that we were talking just before, and we have to give Dave, if there was an unofficial unlucky award this year, Dave has to win it, because as we've been banging on about all year, his team was extremely good. He got the right amount of points for. He got the same amount of points against as both Ross and I. It was very consistent scoring throughout. He just got beat down by individual performances mainly, and particularly like absurd numbers. Like we're talking like 25 points for running back when Lamar went for mental 50-point weeks. That was him. So he is probably 2 or 3 wins down by just crazy individual performances. And as I say, that they would have been a playoff team if they were in a different division. They would have been. Yeah. They would have been. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Yeah. So they were unlucky to be in the division they were in, unlucky to score the points they did and not get better, and most importantly, I think, get scored against unbelievably by individuals.
We like to think that it's as much as how good your team is in fantasy, but really... Yes, there's that element, but what is put in front of you is 100%. Certainly a big factor in that your success.
You got to stay in games, and it's unfortunate that he found himself in a division with both Ross and I in the same year. When really, if it was in anything else, if it was in Phil's division, or if there was a switch around or whatever, so I think that would be, you'd see the fourth team in the playoffs, and definitely one that would have competed. I don't know what they scored at the end of the season because he was out of it by then. But that's it. They have definitely had the players to do it. I say this with Dave every year. They always do. He missed out by a few points last year. That's it, to get into the playoffs after a real good run, and then this year it's like,
it's almost like he used up all of his magic in the first season where he went 15-1 and won it.
Exactly.
And he's just lacked that little bit each year to get him over the line each time. So.
That's it, 15-1 though.
Yeah, crazy.
That's absurd.
I don't care if that was the first year of the league. That's crazy any year.
Exactly.
So that is all the awards. Obviously Ross's will be out at some time as well. Yes. So we'll wrap up with a little bit of. I'm not going to play the news jingle because it's not quite an entire news section, but almost there. So obviously Super Bowl is in a few weeks. First Sunday of February. Invite quite a few people over to mine, so hopefully we'll have a good turnout. You're welcome to come as well, Chris.
Absolutely going to be there. Yep.
We'll have halftime hot dogs and everything as well, and the lounge is all finished in the extension. You probably saw it when you came in.
It's great.
So it will be a good setting and I can't remember if I just said halftime hot dogs, of course.
You can't be a Super Bowl night.
And I actually have some plastic tumblers on my desk. I can't say anything because they are for a specific customer, but I will be bringing them home with me. So you'll be sipping from some good cups if you get there early enough. I don't have that many, but I have a few. So please do come to that if you want to. If you want to bring significant others or whatnot, more than welcome to as well. We will have the AGM at some time in May, is usually when we go for. Tends to be around the bank holiday, but sometime in May. I'll put the dates up for that soon. We will of course have the division aligning event at some point, and that is down to this man right here this year. He already knows what he's doing. You're free to tell everyone, but I think you've already told a few people.
Yes, alright. So it's going to be in London at some point this year. It's going to be a very similar sort of thing to the things we've been doing for the last couple of years, albeit in London for a reason. It's a lot easier to go and do things around inside the M25. When you've got 4 hours to go, you'll be amazed how far you can go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yes, I'm working on that little plan, and that's it. I think that we'll start organising that later on in the year. But that's what we'll be. I think potentially we can do it. We'll have to do it on a day which seems to matter. The European Championships are this year, so maybe we'll do it on a day where England are playing or something, and then
of course,
day out in London, and then maybe a bit of football in the afternoon. But that's it. We'll have a think about that near the time. But that's what I'm thinking.
So that's that. Obviously, we'll starting up the podcast again in June kind of time. I don't know. As we said, we might do the odd thing here or there in between. Who knows? And the draft will be the first or the last weekend before the start of the NFL season, which will be.
We have that down at the moment, sometime in September.
I don't know if I've put it in, but it should be. So I reckon. I think the 10th is the first game this year. They tend to. The 10th of September. Yeah. So it'll either be the 5th or the 6th of September, or the 29th and 30th of August, depending how it falls.
Cool.
But probably the 5th or 6th of September.
Cool.
And I don't think I've got anything else.
No, I really do think that is all we have to say for ourselves this year.
Yeah. It's been a good year.
It's pretty crazy how it's all gone. Like, it's difficult to beat the season previous. It's the closest year ever, closest Corona Bowl ever.
Oh yeah.
Which
is fitting for the Corona Bowl 10.
Absolutely. Yeah. So so this year it's been I think a higher level than any other year previous. I think it's been super competitive throughout. It's nice to have new people. Nice to have one more new guy, Mike in. Who knows what we might have for 2020? So we might have. The return of Nige. I've heard.
It's on the cards.
That's it. If our Kiwi immigrant doesn't come back, then yes, that's it. Then we may have Nige back for a season. But who knows? That's it. We may even go to if we can find someone else, we might even go to 14-team league. Oof. Don't think so. No. Anyway, on that bombshell.
We will wrap this up. I can't wrap up with my usual catchphrase, so I'll do it this. Best of luck in your English Fantasy Premier League this season, unless you're in a league with me, of course. We'll see you when we see you. Goodbye.
Enjoy the XFL.